Hey, what's up guys, I'm Exteria, and in this patch of 14.24, we are currently in like a reroll meta, where most of the time you're gonna play two cost carries, such as Nocturne reroll. I made a video on that, so if you wanna check it out, it's in the description down below. But in this video, we're going to cover the unkillable tanking comp Renata. This comp is actually really uninteractive, but it gets a lot of LP. So if you wanna understand how to play this comp, we need to understand how to build the items. And our main carry is going to be Renata Glass, with her core item being Spirit Sojourn. You can use any other meta item, for example, like Adaptive is fine, but Spirit Sojourn is probably like the best to have. And her other best in slot item would be like Nashor, so you can keep casting faster and faster. And to amp her damage, having Archangel Staff is really good for that. If not, you can build other AP items like True Gauntlet or Death Cap, either or is fine. Or if you want, you can have DFG, Zhonya's, or even Malazane is a good mana item as well. For our secondary carry is going to be a Vex, or it could be either a Heimerdinger or a Malzahar, depending on where you're at the game. Essentially, you kind of want a secondary carry to hold debuff items such as Merlicon, so you can anti-heal the board, and Static Shiv, so you can shred the board, so your Renata could do extra damage. And it's just some sort of mana item so she can keep casting. If not, you could do AP item, is fine as well. Mana items such as Spirit Soldier and Adaptive is fine. If you cannot build a Merlicon, red buff is okay for that. And then just whatever AP items on top of that. Best artifacts, same thing like Renata, just any AP one or mana one is fine. For our main tank, the one I'm going to be mostly talking about is Rell, but you can do Singe as the main tank as well. Either one is fine. And for those frontline tank units that you're going to be playing, their best in slot and their core item is going to be a Gargoyle Stoneplate because they're going to be solo frontline tanking, so you need to have a bunch of Gargoyle Stoneplate, which is best in slot to have a second one. If you have a third one, it'll be okay, but I prefer just extra HP, and you can flex around other tank items if you want. And the artifact tank items are pretty good here. Either one's fine. Most of the time, the emblems you want to pick up is either a Sentinel or even a Visionary. In order to build them, you need a pan with an item that represents stat emblem. So Visionary, for example, is tier to make Visionary, and then for Sentinels is Chain Vest to make the Sentinel Crest. If you have a spat for whatever reason, you can reforge it to turn it into a pan. For our first item slams, the best one is any of the Renata items such as Spirit Soldier, Nashor's, or Archangel. If you start out with one of these, it's not bad. Most of the time, I would rather have a tank item start so I can build perfect AP items later, and good ones would be like Warmongs or Sunfire. Sunfire is really good to note because it makes you win streak pretty easily in the early game, or Gargoyle Stoneplates because you're going to need them anyways. Static Shift is really good to debuff the board early game, and since a lot of units are AP heavy early game, this item helps with a lot of damage. Or you can just build an anti-heal item off rip where you have Merlicon, or even red buff is fine. Or if you really want to win streak hard and you have like two gloves, you could build these gloves, is fine as well. The best opener will probably be like Renata with Spirit Soldier, which is her best item. If you can't find Renata, you can do like Morgana or even like another rebel unit, so you can play Vex carry instead. But most of the time, this will be your opener that you want to do, which is like Rell's main tank, and then Vex for Visionary, and Aurelia for the Sentinel, or Singe is fine. At level 6, for this style specifically, the rest of the units is like the other two Sentinels, which is Leona and Singe. If you find early Alawi, you can switch it out. Unless you're playing for Singe carry, then this is different. You want to main tank the Singe, and then Renata is just, and Rell could just stay level 2. Let's get a level 3, that's good as well. I'll show that in the team builder on how to play the reroll Singe version, but this version is what I prefer the most because you're playing for Renata 3 anyways, so it's easier to 3-star Rell as well. The default board for this version would be to have a Heimerdinger, a Malzahar, and then we switch out the Singe for the Alawi, and then to finish off the Rebels, we throw in Ezreal, and we also get Academy because Ezreal, Heimerdinger, and Leona is also Academy as well. So just to say it again, this default board is for this version only, not the Singe reroll version. If you get a Sentinel Crest, then you can just throw it on either Heimerdinger or Malzahar, either one's fine. So you can have 6 Sentinel, and then you can get put in Loris. Just trade out Loris for Rumble later on down the line because it's better tank. The Visionary style, you can throw in Mbessa, and the good thing to know here is if you need a +1 unit, Mbessa is always a good one because you also get Conquer with Rell. So it's always a good +1 unit. Or if not, you could do 6 cost units such as Victor or something. So you could throw in Abyssa with the Visionary emblem, and then same thing with the Sentinel idea earlier. You just throw in a Loris and then just switch them out for Rumble later down the line. For this team builder segment, I'm going to show briefly real quick on how to play the Singe reroll one because it's very easy to do. And that is to have Singe with his main tank item Gargoyle Stoneplate. You have a Renata with her carry item Spirit Soldier. And these two is to represent, this is tank, and this is to represent Renata item. You play it with Vex and Aurelia. You also get Rell and a Leona, and this will be like the default board. And this is the position you kind of want to do. You can put Leona here or here, or you're up here, Rell here or here. Either or is fine. And essentially you want to 3-star mainly Singe, Vex, and a Renata. So these three are the main ones you want to 3-star. You can also 3-star Aurelia if you want to. Along the way, you can also 3-star Leona and Rell. So it's pretty simple. It's just 4 Sentinel and you get 3 Visionary. In order to cap the board, you need to hit level 7 to throw in +1 Visionary. That'll be something like a Heimerdinger. So you have the full board, which is 4/4. And then over time, when you level up, you throw out mostly Sentinels. So you hit level 8, you have an Alawi, and then level 9, you could throw in either a Loris or even a Rumble. And the main reason why you want to position like this is because Rell would hit everyone here with her ability, and that's what caused everyone to have a shield. So this positioning is the best way to play Renata. The playstyle you want to play this at is when you reroll at level 5. So most of the time the board will be like this at level 5. So this positioning will be fine for this. And you don't want to level a single time because you want to 3-star the Singe, Aurelia, and Vex. And then when you hit level 5, you can possibly reroll Renata and Rell. But if you get them 3-star pretty early, like for example, if you get Singe 3-star right away, just hit level 6 so you can throw in your other Sentinel unit, which would be Leona, and then 3-star the Renata to hit that fast 9. The version that I like to play is when you have to play for the Renata tank version, and that inclines with having a decent opener. So the opener that I would like to do most of the time is when you have Rell already with Aurelia, and most of the time you don't have this kind of opener. So instead of having like Renata and a Vex, maybe you could do Vex carry for now, and then have Aurelia as the main tank. Then you just have a secondary tank, which is Singe, and then you could throw in a +1 Rebel unit, such as Akali, so you can get that extra damage for Vex. Unless you hit Rell, maybe in the early game, this is also really good because you can get 3 Sentinel and then 2 Visionary off rip. If Aurelia is level 2 first, then just put the tank items on her first, or if Singe is level 2 first, you put the tank items on him. And then over time, this is how you want to position it. When you find a Renata at around level 5, then you transfer stuff around where we hit Renata, then transfer it to her. And then when you hit level 6, just play one more Sentinel unit like Leona, then position to the Pyramid version, transfer the tank item to Renata, and then this is where you play Renata Reroll, where you roll for Renata 3-star with Rell 3-star. That's basically about it. And if you're wondering if this is the correct version of playing it, I played this comp in around Master the Diamond lobby, so this worked out for me. You can play like Morgana reroll on top of that if you want to instead, so like a level 7 to cap out the board here. If you want to play like the 1-cost reroll style, like Singe, like I mentioned earlier, with Singe 3-star, you could also do with Morgana 3 if you want to, if you like to reroll for 1-cost units, but that's not my playstyle. I'm just telling you guys my playstyle and how I played it for this game, which is the Rell reroll style with Renata, because I feel like this is easier because I like to fast 9 as soon as I 3-star stuff. And then to finish off the board at level 7, you want to throw in one more Visionary, like for example like Heimerdinger. If you get lucky enough, you could throw in probably like a Victor for like level 8, or maybe a Mel. Warwick is kind of iffy because you need items on him, but compared to Mel and Victor, you don't really need too many items on them, especially Victor. Victor in general doesn't need items, so this is actually really good at level 8. And if you hit high enough, then you can switch out the Heimerdinger for Malzahar. But what if you get emblems? Well, the emblems you can play is like around the Visionary stuff. So for example, if you have a Visionary emblem, I would recommend to play it with Ambessa, because you also get Conquer in. So you just throw the Visionary emblem on Ambessa and she can do work with this. And you just throw in a +1 unit, like for example Alawi, and then when you hit level 9, then you can play 6 Sentinel, which is like Loris. So if you guys see the pattern here, it's just mix and match with 6 Sentinel with 4 Visionary, like no matter what. Unless you get like a 6-cost unit, for example Victor, then just go down to 5 Sentinel. It's fine because the Victor value is way more impactful than to have 6 Sentinel. And then if you want to, you can take out the Ambessa instead. If you really want the 6 Sentinel, you can just put the Visionary emblem on Victor. Even though it doesn't really do anything on him, at least it will transfer some of that mana item into AP, and then just have the 6 Sentinel in, and then you're fine. Or if you have, for example, the Sentinel emblem, then you can play with 6 Sentinel really easily by having +1 Visionary, like for example Heimerdinger. Just throw a Sentinel emblem on him, and then there you go, you have 6 Sentinel. Unless you get a Malzahar instead, which I prefer because he's a better unit, then you can use Malzahar instead with the Sentinel emblem on him, or you can throw it on Vex, either one's fine. And then hopefully at level 9 you could throw in like a Victor or something. So if you guys see the pattern here, you have a lot of freedom of playing this comp. You can mix and match whatever you want. You just have to understand where you want to play it at, if you want to play the Singe reroll, or if you want to play the Rell reroll as your main tank. Either one is fine. There's really no correct answer. It's just in the end, if you're playing the synergies of 4 Sentinel and 4 Visionary. That's all it is. To cap it out, it's just 6 Sentinel, 4 Visionary. Pretty easy, pretty standard to play. The augments you want to auto-click right away when you play this comp would be Starry Night. This allows you to 3-star almost everything really easily because it allows 1 and 2 cost units to have a chance in your shop to be 2-star right away. So this augment is really good to play on any style of the Renata reroll. Just take this augment right away. Another augment that's also really good is Mana Flow because you're able to cast more. So everything from the back line, which is like Vex, Morgana, Renata, or even like Heimerdinger and Malzahar, they're able to cast more and more. The icon's kind of weird here because the picture is different, I don't know why, but Sentinel Crest is a really good like must take, mainly due because you can easily play 6 Sentinels with having the emblem for it. Void Caller just has more frontline, and because Renata's always casting a lot, you can summon Voidlings in the board and you can just keep shooting them, so you have a lot of extra tank on that. Speaking of tank, Immovable Object is very powerful for this comp. Since you're playing like in a pyramid formation or triangle formation, this Immovable Object would allow allowed to hit everyone in the board to gain extra defense stats. Other good reroll augments you could choose from is like Prismatic Take It or Hero Grab Bag, so you can 3-star stuff easier. Mentorship, because like I said earlier, since you pyramid everything, it gives you a lot of stats for attack speed and extra health. Precinct Lotus is just a good meta augment overall because you break armor and magic resist with this augment. And Void Swarm is the same thing like Void Collar, but the difference is Void Swarm is just good overall for like just extra tank since they upgrade over time. And you can always get Visionary Crest or like Shield Bash for your Sentinels. Augment Prio is Econ because you need to keep rolling a lot. So something like Raining Gold is a really good augment since you can get a lot of money from it. If not, you could do something like Item, like example Orin Forge, so you can get better tank items or better mana items. You can do Combat, or if you really want to, you can get Emblems, like for example Sentinel Emblem is the best one to take. I don't really prefer Visionary Crest too much because you're only going to play 4 Visionary in the end anyways, so there's kind of no point for me to just take it as an augment. Unless there's no better other augments, then might as well just take the Visionary Crest. The best anomalies we could choose for is Renata or even like Rell or another tank like Singe. They both use the same thing for Singe and Rell, so for the most part, you can take whatever you see here, but I'm just going to show Rell instead because this is what I prefer. And then for the Renata, anomaly that you want to take most of the time is something that has to do something with your casting. So for example, like Hyper Velocity, you're able to cast more and more because every time when you cast, you gain attack speed. Magic Training is just good because you get more AP for every time you cast. And Nothing Wasted allows you to keep casting more because when a unit dies, you take their mana. So if you see the pattern here, it's just mostly anything to do with casting. And then for our tank, for example, Rell or Singe, Giant Size is good because it gives you 1000 HP. Stone Skin gives you a lot of armor and magic resist. Same with Deep Roots, but Deep Roots allows you to pull units towards them at the cost of only standing still, so you can't move. If you're gonna play the 1-cost rerolls, then you just play slow roll, meaning just don't level at all, save up to 50 gold, pick up the units you need, and then just 3-star everything from there, then fast 7 to fill up the board. But this style is high tempo to fast 6. In order to do that is at stage 2-1, you level to 4, so you can throw out your units in and save HP or just win streak with it. At stage 2-3, always make intervals of 10 gold. If you don't, you'll be poor for the rest of the game, so make 10, 20, 30 gold. If you have more than 14 gold, pre-level to 5. The reason why this is kind of important because when you come back from Carousel, you get a level 5 shop, so you have a higher chance to get better units. And when you pre-level, it will look like this on your bar, which you have 8 out of 10 XP, because when you come back from Carousel, you're level 5. At stage 2-4, if you didn't hit level 5 yet, then just hit level 5 there. At stage 2-6, make intervals again of 20, 30, 40 gold, because if you don't make intervals of 10 gold around this stage, or you can do that 2-5 as well, you're just gonna be poor. At stage 3-2, level to 6 and roll for your board, which is like Renata, Rell, and stuff like that. By the time you roll for most 2-stars, then you save up to 50 gold and then you slow roll. If you're pretty close to getting Renata 3, then around like 2 or 3 copies left, just roll all your gold so you can hit them level 3, and once you get Renata 3, just level to fast 8 to complete the game. And that's it for the unkillable and tanky comp Renata. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer to the best of my capabilities. I know this video is maybe kind of confusing just because I'm trying to give out ideas of how to play this comp instead of how to actually play this comp. So until then, I'll see you guys later.